In a place so cold that metal can snap like glass and winds howl at over 100 miles per hour, life should be impossible. And yet, there, in the frozen heart of Antarctica, life doesn't just survive, it thrives. Towering like tuxedoed soldiers against blizzards that would kill a human in minutes, emperor penguins form massive huddles of thousands, each bird clinging to the other, locked in an ancient ritual of survival. Their breath steams through the icy air, eyes closed, enduring a dark winter that lasts months. But how? How does an animal made of feathers and flesh withstand temperatures as low as 60 degrees Celsius without shelter, without food, without fire? No other bird, no other vertebrate, endures what the emperor does. Not that of the Arctic fox, with its thick fur and fat reserves. Not the polar bear, which avoids the deep interior of the Arctic for coastal haunts. Not even the famously cold-hearted wood frog, which literally freezes solid in winter, survives this level of environmental punishment with such grace. The emperor penguin doesn't hide. It stands. It waits. It endures. But this is no accident of biology and anatomy. This is the result of 60 million years of evolutionary fine-tuning. So today, we dive deep into the biology of one of the most extreme creatures alive. How does the emperor penguin slow its metabolism to survive starvation? Why do males incubate eggs while fasting for over 60 days? What secrets lie in their bones, their blood, their feathers that allow them to plunge over 500 meters into icy black water? And what can we, fragile, warm-blooded humans, learn from a bird that thrives where almost nothing else can? Let's peel back the feathers and find out. From feathered dinosaurs to ice kings. To understand the emperor penguin, we must first trace its bloodline, not just through time, but through the very forces that shaped life after dinosaurs. Around 66 million years ago, an asteroid impact ended the age of the giant reptiles and gave rise to birds, mammals, and eventually modern ecosystems. One lineage of feathered theropod dinosaurs, lightweight, endothermic, bipedal, evolved not towards flight, but towards water. These were the ancestors of the penguin. By 60 million years ago, fossil records show early penguin-like birds in New Zealand and Antarctica, long before icy sheets dominated the southern pole. They were flightless, flipper divers, adapted not for sky, but sea. The genius Waimanu, one of the earliest known penguins, already had dense bones for diving, reduced wings, and a body plan made for aquatic propulsion. They look more like torpedoes than birds. What's staggering is how fast this transformation occurred. Within just 15 million years of the Cretaceous extinction, penguins had shed flight entirely. Unlike other seabirds like puffins or gnats, today, flightless diving birds like the penguin are convergent in shape with the marine reptiles like Ichthyosaurus, or even seals, animals that evolve separately but towards the same body plan. This is evolutionary physics at work. When you want to move fast and efficiently underwater, the solutions are limited. But why Antarctica? And why stay when it froze over? As the Earth cooled over the past 40 million years, currents like the Antarctic circumpolar current isolated the continent and allowed vast ice sheets to form. Most birds fled, but penguins evolved into the cold. Denser feathers, thicker fat layers, tighter social behaviors. Where flamingos needed warm water and parrots needed fruiting trees, penguins asked for nothing but ocean and ice. And the emperor took it to the limit. A body built for ice and pressure. At nearly 1.2 meters tall and weighing up to 45 kilograms, the emperor penguin is the largest of its kind. But this isn't just about bulk. Every inch of its anatomy is sculpted for cold survival and extreme diving. Let's start with the feathers. Unlike birds like hawks or ducks, penguin feathers are short, stiff, and densely packed, up to 100 feathers per square inch. Beneath these is a thick layer of down, then a blubber layer that can exceed 3 centimeters during the winter. Compared to tropical birds like toucans or macaws, the penguin is essentially wearing a pressure suit. And it's not just insulation, It's regulation. Emperor penguins have an astonishing vascular system. In their extremities, wings, legs, bill, arteries and veins lie close together in countercurrent heat exchangers. This means warm blood moving from the heart transfers heat to the colder blood returning from the edges, minimizing heat loss. Reindeer in the Antarctic use similar systems in their legs. Humans, we just lose heat rapidly. But now, dive deeper. Emperor penguins regularly plunge 40 to 50 meters below the ice, chasing fish and squid. Their bones are solid, not hollow, reducing buoyancy, just like seals or whales. They store oxygen not in their lungs, but in muscle-bound myoglobin and hemoglobin-rich blood. Compared to a sparrow or a pigeon, their oxygen storage is supercharged. Even their metabolism bends to survival. During deep dives, their heart rate drops from 200 beats per minute to less than 30. Their core temperature lowers slightly, conserving energy and oxygen, like a controlled hibernation. Crocodiles do something similar during dives, but they're ectothermic. Penguins are endothermic athletes playing by different rules. It's not just biology, it's bioengineering. The heart that waits. All of the emperor penguin behaviors, nothing is more emotionally staggering than what the males endure during the breeding season. While most animals, humans included, build nests and raise young in spring or summer, emperor penguins breed in the Antarctic winter. Why? Because by the time chicks hatch and fledge, the brief summer boom of fish and krill has arrived. But the cost is severe. After the female lays a single egg, she transfers it to the male and vanishes for months to feed at sea. Then, the male balances this egg on his feet under a special skin flap called a brood pouch and stands, motionless, for 65 days. During this time, the male eats nothing. Temperatures fall to negative 60 degrees Celsius. Winds scream across the ice. Blizzards reduce visibility to meters. And still, he stands. Every few days, he shuffles a few centimeters to adjust to the moving huddle, a tightly packed spiral of thousands of birds that rotate inward and outward, sharing warmth like molecules in a fluid. This is not a community. It's a thermodynamic machine. His fat reserves, built up over months of feeding, slowly burn away. Heart rate drops. Muscle activity is minimal. Emperor penguin males can lose up to 45% of their body weight during this fast. No other bird does this. Even albatrosses, famous for long courtships, don't incubate under such conditions. In mammals, fasting this long while maintaining core temperatures would be fatal. Even bears, which hibernate, do so insulated in dens. No animal comes close except maybe the male seahorse, which carries fertilized eggs in a pouch, but in warm, shallow seas. Penguin, he stands in the dark, in silence, alone. And then the egg hatches. Voices in the white silence. When the chicks emerge, weak and blind, the Antarctic is still rippled in winter. The mothers return, somehow locating her mate among thousands, using a call that is uniquely hers. Each emperor penguin has a two-tone vocal signature. No two are alike. In blind snow, scentless air, and featureless white, it is sound that binds families. But here's what's wild. These calls aren't just identification codes. They carry emotional weight. Researchers from the French Dumont Urville Station have recorded over 50 variations in adult emperor penguin calls, used not only for mating, but warning, greeting, and parenting. Their syrinx, bird equivalent to the larynx, can produce two frequencies simultaneously, creating complex harmonics similar to vocal cords. Few other birds have this. Songbirds like nightingales are more melodic, yes, but lack the harsh, carry-through blizzard resonance of a penguin's call. Dolphins also use signature whistles, and humans, of course, use language, but penguins combine individuality with purpose. The Arctic tern, famous for its pole-to-pole migration, uses similar calls. The parrot, more intelligent, mimics. The penguin speaks only of survival. And when food finally arrives, regurgitated krill and fish warmed in the mother's gut, the chick eats from the parent's beak. then tucks into the same warm pouch that once cradled the egg. The family, finally reunited, begins the hard work of raising a chick in the coldest place on Earth, but their trials are far from over. The cost of perfection. Every perfect trait comes at a price. In the emperor penguin, perfection is everywhere, and so is the cost. Its thick plumage protects it from the cold, but makes it painfully slow on land, where it waddles awkwardly and must toboggan on its belly to conserve energy. Its dense bones make diving effortless, but escaping predators at the surface, like leopard seals or orcas, a deadly gamble. Even its tight social bonds, those beautiful spiraling huddles, come at a biological toll. Close proximity spreads disease, increases parasite load, and intensifies competition for warmth. Humans too bear such trade-offs. Our upright gait freed our hands, but made childbirth more dangerous. Our large brains give us thought and speech, but demand 20% of our body's energy. Likewise, the emperor penguin's evolutionary edge is not free. Fasting for 2 months burns through precious reserves. A single failed breeding season can mean the death of entire colonies. In fact, with the warming of Antarctica, some breeding grounds are collapsing. In 2023, satellite images confirmed that over 10,000 chicks in the Bellinghausen Sea perished after their ice platform broke away before they could fledge. Even the miracle of their feathers, a waterproof, windproof, layered armor, is not without flaws. If feathers get contaminated with oil or damaged by pollutants, their insulation vanishes. Penguins, unlike otters or seals, cannot preen oily feathers clean. For a creature evolved to survive the cold continent, heat loss is a swift killer. And so, the emperor walks the knife's edge. Every adaptation is razor precise. Every trade-off a potential catastrophe. Yet, still they endure. Superdivers of the Southern Sea. If walking is a chore, diving is a symphony. The emperor penguin doesn't just swim. It torpedoes, it spirals, it dances through ice-laced waters with grace rivaling dolphins. Where humans can barely hold their breath for a minute, the emperor routinely dives for 15. The record, a staggering 27.6 minutes underwater, plunging to a depth of 564 meters, deeper than the height of the Empire State Building. This feat relies on a suit of anatomical magic. Unlike human, whose lungs risk collapse at depth, the emperor can compress its air sacs and safely store oxygen in myoglobin-rich muscles. Their blood hemoglobin has evolved to function even at extremely low oxygen pressures. A 2013 study from the University of California found that the emperor penguin hemoglobin maintains oxygen-binding capacity longer than that of any other diving bird. Even seals can't compete. The heart, too, becomes a metronome of survival. During deep dive, it slows dramatically, bradycardia, to conserve oxygen. Similar responses are seen in sea turtles, sperm whales, and even crocodiles. But the emperor penguin is different. It's warm-blooded. It can't afford the luxury of cooling down too much, or its metabolism will stall. So it walks a tightrope between oxygen conservation and thermoregulation, constantly shifting its physiological gears mid-dive. And then there's the glide phase. After descending, the penguin stops flapping and lets gravity do the work, conserving energy while rocketing downward. It's hydrodynamic physics at play, an aquatic ballet performed in silence. By comparison, the G2 penguin is faster in bursts and the sea lion more agile, but neither touches the emperor's depth or duration. In the icy void, this bird reigns. Genetics written in ice. If the emperor's body is a machine, then its DNA is a blueprint carved by cold and time. And what scientists have uncovered in its genome is nothing short of astonishing. In 2014, comparative genomic studies published by Gigascience, researchers sequenced the genome of an emperor penguin alongside that of the dilly penguin. They found clear signatures of selection in genes related to thermoregulation, lipid metabolism, oxygen transport, and even feather keratin synthesis. One gene in particular, EPAS1, is associated with hypoxia response. In humans, this gene allows Tibetan highlanders to survive at high altitudes. In penguins, it enables tolerance of low oxygen environments underwater. Convergent evolution across continents shaped this gene in two wildly different ways. The emperor inherited the same molecular solution to two radically different problems. Keratin genes also show unique mutations. Penguin feathers aren't just more numerous, they're structurally different. They interlock like Velcro, forming a sleek, waterproof barrier unlike anything in most birds. Compare that to an owl's feathers, soft for silent flight, or the iridescent plumes of a peacock. Beauty versus survival, the penguin chose armor. And then there's the loss. The emperor penguin has shed certain genes common to other birds. Olfactory receptors, for instance. Why smell when scent doesn't carry an Antarctic wind? The same way cave fish lose their eyes, or naked mole rats lose their pain receptors. Penguins have paired this genome to its core. It's not just what you can gain in evolution, it's what you're willing to lose. Crisis on ice. But even evolutionary mastery has limits. And as the Earth warms, the emperor faces a paradox. It has survived 60 million years of change, but it may not survive us. Climate models predict that if current trends continue, over 80% of the emperor penguin's colonies will be gone by the end of the century. Already, entire rookeries have collapsed. Ice platforms melt before chicks can grow flight feathers. Fish populations shift southward. The food web stretches thin. A species so specialized cannot simply move. Emperor penguins are tied to fast ice, frozen ocean platforms that break up predictably each summer. If the timing fails, breeding fails. If krill platforms plummet to acidifying oceans, feeding fails. Unlike adaptable generalists like gulls or rats or raccoons, the emperor is a master of a narrow domain, and adaptation is slow. Evolution doesn't happen in a generation. What took 60 million years cannot pivot in 50. A 2020 study from the British Antarctic Survey warned that the emperor penguin should be listed as vulnerable under the IUCN Red List. Some suggest reclassifying them as climate sentinels, living barometers of the planet's health. And yet, there is hope. Satellite monitoring, conservation treaties, and protected marine areas are expanding. Scientists now use drones to count colonies. Genetic studies help identify which populations are most vulnerable. Even ecotourism, when managed ethically, brings attention and funding to this icy frontier. But the clock is ticking. Lessons from the end of the Earth. In the emperor penguin, we glimpse the fragility of mastery. This bird is not primitive throwback, it's a pinnacle. A creature not shaped in spite of Earth's harshest climate, but because of it. Every feather, every dive, every huddled breath is a product of selection so intense, so precise, that even a slight change in temperature threatens to unravel it all. But what does that say about us? Where the emperor evolved insulation, we invented jackets. Where it fasts, we refrigerate. Where it dives with one breath, we build submarines. But we're not so different. We too huddle against the cold. We too raise our young in seasons of hardship. We too are bound by the biology and physics, and now by responsibility. Because to watch an emperor penguin incubate an egg on ice, to see it dive into blackness for food, to hear its call echo through frozen silence, is to witness resilience in its purest form. And resilience, like ice, is not unbreakable. It is beautiful. It is fleeting. It is worth protecting. This is the insane biology of the emperor penguin. And it is, quite possibly, one of evolution's finest poems. That was the simplified biology and anatomy of the emperor penguin.